Provocative ideas. When to push boundaries in an era defined by polarization and rapid technological evolution, provocative ideas serve as both catalysts and crucibles for societal transformation. The line between radical innovation and incendiary rhetoric grows increasingly blurred as activists seek new ways to challenge entrenched power structures. The nature of provocative thinking. Provocative ideas are conceptual frameworks designed to disrupt conventional wisdom through deliberate controversy. They often combine elements of shock value with strategic insight to force audiences out of complacency. These ideas thrive in environments where status quo narratives dominate public discourse. Historically, they've emerged during periods of stagnation when traditional reform approaches fail to produce meaningful progress. Ethical dimensions of provocation. The moral calculus behind provocative ideas demands careful consideration of intent versus impact. Activists must weigh the potential for positive disruption against risks of alienating target audiences. Contextual awareness becomes crucial when deploying controversial messaging across different cultural landscapes. Sometimes the most effective provocations come from unexpected sources rather than established institutions. Balancing act, risk versus reward. A 2022 study found that 68% of high-impact social movements incorporated some form of provocative strategy in their early stages. However, those same movements had to navigate complex risk management protocols to avoid self-inflicted setbacks. This suggests a calculated approach is often better than spontaneous provocation alone. Successful practitioners maintain clear objectives even when embracing controversial methods. Historical precedents from the suffragette movement's hunger strikes to modern climate protests occupying corporate headquarters. These examples demonstrate how provocative tactics have evolved alongside changing media ecosystems. Digital platforms now provide unprecedented reach for unconventional ideas seeking mainstream attention. The challenge lies in adapting time-tested principles to contemporary communication realities. Strategic frameworks for effective provocation. Crafting impactful provocative ideas requires understanding psychological triggers that drive behavioral change. Emotional resonance often proves more powerful than purely intellectual arguments. Storytelling techniques can transform abstract concepts into visceral experiences that stick with audiences. Visual metaphors frequently prove more compelling than textual descriptions in activating public consciousness. Shock factor. Sudden disruptions can reset mental frameworks by forcing immediate engagement. Relatability. Even provocative ideas gain traction when anchored in everyday human experiences. Mobility. Concepts that evolve organically tend to adapt better to shifting political tides. Risk assessment. Understanding potential consequences before deployment is critical. Case studies in modern activism. Greta Thunberg's school strike introduced a radically simple idea that resonated globally. Her method combined personal sacrifice with symbolic protest, creating a powerful narrative vehicle. While her message was uncompromising, its delivery remained accessible to broad demographics. This illustrates how simplicity can enhance the effectiveness of provocative messaging. The power of simplicity. Research indicates that messages with fewer than 7 key components achieve higher recall rates among diverse populations. Greta's single demand, "We want our schools back," became a universal rallying cry despite its specificity. This demonstrates how targeted simplicity can transcend cultural boundaries when executed properly. Other successful movements have similarly distilled complex issues into digestible slogans. Navigating institutional resistance. Persistent systems of power rarely relinquish control voluntarily to provocative forces. Corporate interests often deploy counter-narratives to neutralize disruptive ideas. Understanding these institutional defense mechanisms allows activists to anticipate and mitigate opposition. Building coalitions across different interest groups strengthens resistance to coordinated suppression efforts. The digital age of provocation. Online platforms offer unparalleled opportunities for spreading provocative ideas rapidly. However, algorithmic curation. Global perspectives on provocation. Cultural contexts significantly shape what constitutes acceptable provocation in different regions. What works effectively in Western democracies may face censorship elsewhere due to varying norms. localizing provocative ideas without losing their core essence requires nuanced adaptation. Cross-cultural collaboration enables sharing of innovative strategies while respecting regional sensitivities. Measuring impact beyond metrics' tangible outcomes often take years to materialize after initial provocative interventions. Assessing long-term effects requires looking beyond immediate reactions or shares. Tracking policy changes, shifts in public opinion, and grassroots mobilization provides deeper insights. Qualitative assessments complement quantitative analysis in evaluating success. Future frontiers of provocative thought. Emerging technologies present new avenues for challenging existing paradigms. Augmented reality offers novel ways to visualize systemic inequalities in immersive formats. AI-generated content raises questions about authenticity and authorship in activist communications. Blockchain technology could revolutionize how resources are tracked and allocated in movement organizing. Conclusion: provocative ideas remain essential tools for dismantling entrenched power structures and fostering societal renewal. Their effectiveness depends on thoughtful application that balances audacity with strategic foresight. By continuously innovating approaches while remaining grounded in principled objectives, activists can maximize their impact. Ultimately, the goal isn't merely to provoke but to ignite sustainable transformations that reshape the world for the better.